I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. Okay, so we are going to once again be reading in Jacob chapter 5. We have read of the initial scattering of Israel. We have read of the time of the early church, or, between the return of the Jews and the coming of Christ, everything was good. We then read about the apostasy and how everything became corrupted. We now pick this up. We will be reading verses 48 to 69. And it came to pass that the servant said unto his master, Is it not the loftiness of thy vineyard? Have not the branches thereof overcome the roots which are good? And because the branches have overcome the roots thereof, behold, they grew faster than the strength of the roots, taking strength unto themselves. Behold, I say, is not this the cause that the trees of thy vineyard have become corrupted? And it came to pass that the Lord of the vineyard said unto the servant, Let us go to, and hew down the trees of the vineyard, and cast them into the fire, that they shall not cumber the ground of my vineyard. For I have done all. What could I have done more for my vineyard? But behold, the servant said unto the Lord of the vineyard, Spare it a little longer. And the Lord said, Yea, I will spare it a little longer, for it grieveth me that I should lose the trees of my vineyard. Wherefore let us take of the branches of these which I have planted in the nethermost parts of my vineyard, and let us graft them into the tree from whence they came. And let us pluck from the tree those branches whose fruit is most bitter, and graft in the natural branches of the tree in the stead thereof. And this will I do, that the tree may not perish, that perhaps I may preserve unto myself the roots thereof for mine own purpose. And behold, the roots of the natural branches of the tree which I planted, whithersoever I would, are yet alive. Wherefore, that I may preserve them also for mine own purpose, I will take of the branches of this tree, and will graft them in unto them. Yea, I will graft in unto them the branches of their mother tree, that I may preserve the roots also unto mine own self, that when they shall be sufficiently strong, perhaps they may bring forth good fruit unto me, and I may yet have glory in the fruit of my vineyard. And it came to pass that they took from the natural tree which had become wild, and grafted in unto the natural trees which also had become wild. And they also took of the natural trees which had become wild, and grafted into their mother tree. And the Lord of the vineyard said unto the servant, Pluck not the wild branches from the trees, save it be those which are most bitter. And in them ye shall graft according to that which I have said. And we will nourish again the trees of the vineyard, and we will trim up the branches thereof, and we will pluck from the trees those branches which are ripened, that must perish, and cast them into the fire. And this I do, that perhaps the roots thereof may take strength because of their goodness, and because of the change of the branches, that the good may overcome the evil. And because that I have preserved the natural branches and the roots thereof, and that I have grafted in the natural branches again into their mother tree, and have preserved the roots of their mother tree, that perhaps the trees of my vineyard may bring forth again good fruit, and that I may have joy again in the fruit of my vineyard, and perhaps that I may rejoice exceedingly that I have preserved the roots of and the branches of the first fruit. Wherefore go to and call servants, that we may labor diligently with our might in the vineyard, that we may prepare the way, that I may bring forth again the natural fruit, which natural fruit is good, and the most precious above all other fruit. Wherefore let us go to and labor with our might this last time, for behold, the end draweth nigh. And this is for the last time that I shall prune my vineyard. Graft in the branches, begin at the last, that they may be first, and that the first may be last. And dig about the trees, both old and young, the first and the last and the first, that all may be nourished once again for the last time. Wherefore dig about them, and prune them, and dung them once more for the last time, for the end draweth nigh. And if it be so that these last grafts shall grow, and bring forth the natural fruit, then shall ye prepare the way for them, that they may grow. And as they begin to grow, ye shall clear away the branches which bring forth bitter fruit, according to the strength of the good, and the size thereof. And ye shall not clear away the bad thereof all at once, lest the roots thereof should be too strong for the graft, and the graft thereof shall perish, and I lose the trees of my vineyard. For it grieveth me that I should lose the trees of my vineyard. Wherefore ye shall clear away the bad according to as the good shall grow, that the root and the top may be equal in strength, until the good shall overcome the bad, and the bad be hewn down and cast into the fire, that they cumber not the ground of my vineyard. And thus will I sweep away the bad out of my vineyard, and the branches of the natural tree will I graft in again into the natural tree, and the branches of the natural tree will I graft into the natural branches of the tree. And thus will I bring them together again, that they shall bring forth the natural fruit, and they shall be one. And the bad shall be cast away, yea, even out of all the land of my vineyard. For behold, only this once will I prune my vineyard. Pay close attention here. There's one point that I didn't mention in the previous readings, because it didn't clarify it real well, but this one does clarify it here. The branches that were cut down, the young shoots that were broken off and planted in the nethermost parts of the vineyard, they weren't grafted into other trees. They were planted. They are their own trees. And now, for this last time of pruning, this last time of the work, we're not just taking the branches of those trees and grafting them back into the mother tree again, but we are also taking branches of the mother tree and grafting them into these other trees. Why is this significant? Because it tells us that the gathering of Israel does not mean that everybody gathers back to Jerusalem. As it said in Nephi wrote, and I believe it's even quoting Isaiah, where it says that they will be gathered to the lands of their inheritance. Multiple lands. The Jews will be gathered in Jerusalem, in the Middle East, and Israel there. The Nephites and Lamanites, they will be gathered in the Americas. The other three branches that we are talking about here will be gathered to their lands of inheritance. God is not removing them from their lands of inheritance and taking them back to the mother tree. He is mixing them up. The gathering is they are coming to know themselves again. The branches of the mother tree being grafted into the other trees, and those trees, their branches being brought back to the mother tree. This is again to symbolize that the gathering is a gathering of knowledge. That's how Israel is primarily gathered. They know who they are. They learn who they are. And the Jews learn who they are. They learn that they are all one. They are all Israel. And as they are strengthened, the wicked get cut off, get cast out. That's another point to make here. So remember, the root, that is the gospel covenant. The Abrahamic covenant, that is the root. And it is still good. And it is still good even among all the other trees, everywhere where the branches have been planted. Their roots are still good. They still have that covenant. What it means when it says the roots be too strong for the branches is you can't, if you do too much, if you try to clear the wicked out too much, then the young, those whose faith is not quite as strong as it could be, they will be cleared out as well. They will not be able to handle the full covenant. They must be given it a little at a time until they are strengthened and can handle that full covenant. But as more people are able to handle that covenant, as more people can actually live the covenants of God, then we can prune away the corrupt branches. We can prune away the wicked. And eventually, the entire vineyard will be cleared of the corrupt trees. And that marks the second coming. This is a beautiful allegory. I'm going to leave that here. We have one part left to go, so I will see you there.